Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about my recommendations for day lotions, the best SPF day lotion. And just to let you know, when I talk about these, I use all of these products instead of a day lotion, instead of moisturiser. I've never used two separate products. I've always used a moisturiser with an SPF or an SPF lotion that is moisturising enough. My skin at the moment, I would say, it's difficult. It's normal, but it does get oily and it can also be dry and dehydrated. So I need something for my skin that is going to be matte enough to put makeup over the top and not feel greasy, and I need something that is going to give me enough moisture that my skin's not going to feel tight. So these are the recommendations that I'm giving you. That's the kind of formula you'll find. I could have talked about a lot of products. Somebody even gave me a list of products that she wanted me to cover, but there's so many products out there. I could literally have been going through them all, but what instead I'm doing is I've got 7 products, and of those 7 products there's 2 that I don't recommend. I might briefly at the end mention the ones that lady listed and others that I have enjoyed, and I'm not mentioning as a best or favourite or whatever, just so you know why. But like I said, there's so many out there and not that many that have kind of meet the criteria that I meet my criteria for using a lotion. Please do excuse my bed hair. I know this is a bit of a mess, but it needs a wash and I'm going to the gym after this, then it will get a wash. So let me just tell you what I am talking about when I'm listing these 7 products, and I've got 4 of them to show you. Some of them I don't. If you haven't watched my sunscreen basics, I would say that it would probably be useful to you to watch that first and then watch this, because it may answer a lot of questions you would potentially have from this video. So I'm going to be telling you about these products, whether they are mineral or chemical, and that other video will tell you the difference between mineral and chemical sunscreens. I'll be talking about the fact that I'm looking for one with avobenzone in it, and I explained that in that other video. It's more broad spectrum. There are more modern UV ingredients, protective SPF ingredients, but I haven't fully looked into them. There's one particular ingredient I want to have a look into, but I just haven't had a chance. And so for now, for me, I am happy using a product that has avobenzone in it. And like I said, I think that some companies are using another product instead of that is more of a modern, perhaps more elegant formula, as they say, but as long as I can find something with avobenzone in it, if I'm using a chemical sunscreen, I'd be happy with that just now. But it may be that in the future I do an updated video, or I thought I might do a video on new SPF ingredients and, you know, have a look into the new ingredients and what they're like and what the risks are and what the research is. We're talking about which products don't have or do have oxybenzone in it, because again, in my other video I'd said that there's some research showing that to be a potential hormone disruptor, so I'd be looking for products that don't have oxybenzone in it. Retinol palmitate, I'd also be looking to make sure they don't have retinol palmitate in it, because that is another ingredient that is fine, but not used in SPF products. Has been found to be carcinogenic, potentially carcinogenic, I think was the concern with that. I'll be obviously looking for products without perfume and alcohol, and I'll be looking for ones that have, or I have looked for ones that have added antioxidants in them. And the reason for that is the antioxidants help the product work better, you know, kind of boost its efficacy and help protect your skin from the free radicals that can be created from the sunscreen. Okay, so let's go on to products. Like I said, I've got 7 to talk about, and the number one, I've got 4 of them here. The number one that I'm going to talk about is this one, which is not something I'd ever heard of before. I simply saw this at a counter when I was in Tyso's and picked it up, because this is it's 20 ml of cream and then there is a lip balm on the end, but you can just buy a big tube of this. So it's the Lifesystems Mountain Sun Protection SPF50, very high. It says on it UVA protection, but I do believe this is broad spectrum. Yeah, it says on the back that it's broad spectrum. I'm not sure why it says, I didn't notice that it says, I think it's because it's saying 5-star UV protection. So this one is a mixture of minical? That is a mixture of mineral and chemical, isn't it? Minical, it's a minical sunscreen. This is a mixture of mineral and chemical sunscreens, mostly mineral. It's zinc oxide, titanium dioxide are the top 2 ingredients. Then it's octocrylene, oh, that's it, octocrylene. So that makes this an SPF 50, and it makes it a mostly mineral SPF with a little bit of chemical sunscreen in there. And there's a tiny amount of fragrance. I've got my notes here if you wonder why I'm looking down. There's no parabens, there's no retinol palmitate. I say no parabens because some people are concerned with that. No retinol palmitate, no alcohol. There's a small amount of antioxidant in this, but not an awful lot. But this is one that I have used quite a lot. I mostly use this at the weekend when we're going out with the dog all day and I'm not always putting makeup on, but I have done. That's what it looks like. And it doesn't give any white cast at all. It's very moisturising. It does sink in. It doesn't make a completely matte finish, but it works beautifully under makeup for me. And I was very surprised at that actually. I put it on and thought, oh no, I need to put makeup on, because that was the day I was going to get my nails done after we'd been out for the day. I put makeup on top and was like, wow, actually works very well under makeup. You can see there, it's still not looking shiny. You can see that there's some product on there, but it's not looking shiny. And this is something, I think I'll link all of these for you, of course, the ones that I recommend, but this is something I think you can get on Amazon pretty easily in both the UK and USA, so hopefully you can in other places as well. And I think this was £8, so hopefully a reasonable priced one, you know, for a bigger bottle. Next is the Skinceuticals one, and it looks like this. This is an SPF 50. And this is a mineral sunscreen. It has in it titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. These are the top two ingredients, and there are no chemicals in this. This is just a mineral sunscreen. In fact, I think it says, yeah, sheer mineral UV defense. There are no antioxidants in this, so that's a bit of a minus point if you like, but there's no perfume, no alcohol, no retinol palmitate, no parabens. I have seen this reviewed by other channels, and they have said that it doesn't leave a white cast. For me, it does leave a white cast. Not something that would bother me if I wasn't wearing makeup, but I think most of us are wearing makeup over the top, so I don't think that matters too much. But even if you weren't, I don't think it's a big problem unless you have darker skin, and so I'm not sure how that would work. I'll show you. You do need to shake this one, and this works lovely under skin. So this is quite fluid, as you can see, and it's definitely more elegant, we keep using that word, than mineral sunscreens have been in the past, but I do feel like there's a white cast, so hopefully you can see that. But like I said, it doesn't, that is not something that bothers me. It's just that I put it on, looked in the mirror, and I thought, yeah, I can see the difference between my face and my neck, definitely. But that would sort of sink in and go away as the day went on, and it wouldn't be something that would bother me. I'm just trying to rub it in a little bit more and see what a difference it makes. There's still, I think, a white cast there. But other than that, it's a really lovely feeling product. But this, whoops, this is one of my favourites, but it's one of the more expensive ones, unfortunately. I think it was over £20 for this, and this is, it's 50ml, so it's not too bad. It's funny, isn't it? You put it next to that and it looks pretty identical, but this is 50ml and this has only got 20ml in it, so there you go. I should have said, I am at the end going to tell you which is the best if you've got sensitive skin. What is my categories? I'm going to tell you the best for oily, dry, sensitive skin, the least risk, as in, you know, research for risks of cancer and all of that, the best for budget, and the best all round in my opinion. On the list is Olay, the Olay SPF30. That's something that I've showed you guys before that I have used, and I think I said at the time, I don't like the Olay SPF lotions, and actually there are some Olay products that I can find that aren't loaded with perfume and that don't have alcohol in, but not many. And the SPF lotions I've used from them have been, the SPF 30 was too greasy, and it stung my eyes, really stung my eyes, and it had perfume and alcohol and parabens in. I do have this one, the Olay Featherweight Moisturiser with an SPF of 15. I'm just seeing if this has ingredients on the back, because I haven't put this one on the list specifically, it was just Olay in general. No, this one is not too bad, but this is not one I'd recommend because this is an SPF 15, and I think that we need more than that. Now, you might think, well, why did I buy that one then? Well, I would use that one generally in the winter. I think that you could probably get away with a 15 in the winter or going out in the evening, you know, things like that. So there was a specific reason I tried that. I think maybe because it was a new product, I can't remember. Anyway, Olay in general for me, there's perfume, alcohol, parabens, chemical sunscreens that I don't want to use, and they sting my eyes, so they're a no-no for me. I think the Olay and the next one I'm going to talk about, La Roche-Posay, the fact that I'm not recommending these might be unpopular because I know that there's a lot of you guys that use, not so much Olay, but I've had a lot of people saying they use the La Roche-Posay. I love La Roche-Posay as a skincare brand, and there's a lot of products that I really enjoy from them. I've used the Effaclar Duo in the past, but they do put alcohol in their products, and they do also put perfume in their products. And to me, when we're talking about specifically an SPF lotion, I need it to be free of those. It's definitely one place where you don't want the sun reacting with fragrance, and you don't want the alcohol drying out your skin. I just don't feel like that should be something that's in SPF. So my notes on the La Roche-Posay, I'm specifically talking about the Anthelios fluid, because I bought, you know, the one that is in a little square bottle with a little sort of, looks like a little funnel, and I had really hoped that would be my favourite sunscreen, if you like, when I bought it, because I love the La Roche-Posay, but it's another one that stung my eyes really badly. I couldn't use it at all. And I've put here that it's a chemical sunscreen. It has alcohol in it, it stings, and it also has oxybenzone in it, and there are no antioxidants in it at all. The no antioxidants might not be a huge issue, because if you may well put vitamin C on before you put your SPF on, which will help, because therefore you are putting antioxidants on. But there's still many other antioxidants that would be very beneficial to be in an SPF lotion, in addition to you just putting vitamin C on. And there's no antioxidants in either the Olay or the La Roche-Posay, but like I said, it's got the La Roche-Posay Anthelios has got oxybenzone in it, so that's an ingredient I would try to avoid anyway. So those two brands for me are a no-no for sun protection. Next on the list is the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer SPF45 Dry Touch Sunscreen. You've heard me talk about this, I'm sure. This has been one I really enjoyed when I had terribly oily skin and acne prone skin, and I've enjoyed it even more recently when my skin has been less oily and more dehydrated, and this gives me enough moisture. I really love this as a product. Ingredients wise, this has avobenzone is the #1 ingredient on here, so that's great, because that's if I'm going to use a chemical sunscreen, that's the ingredient I'm looking for. There's a tiny bit of fragrance in this, but it's very low on the list, and nothing that I can smell, nothing that bothers my skin, so I'm not worried about that. There's no alcohol. It does have parabens in it, so that might bother some people. For me personally, it's not an issue. There's no retinol palmitate. There's no antioxidants in this, which is again a minus point, but a bigger minus point is it does have oxybenzone in it, and it's actually not something I had looked into myself. When the great thing about doing these videos and you guys wanting to know this information is it kind of forces me to look into the skincare and the SPFs that I'm using and look into what the research is. I didn't know before looking into this what ingredients had what research behind them until I did that other video, and now I know that oxybenzone is one I'd prefer to avoid if at all possible. And when I say prefer to avoid, I'm going to finish using this tube. I'm not just going to throw it away. It's not that conclusive, but there's other products I will use going forward, and I'll tell you about that as we go through. I'll add that into the category at the end, what I'll use going forward. So that's everything on the Neutrogena one. Two left. The next one is the Simple Kind to Skin SPF30. This is another one that I thought was, was up there in my top 5 day creams, if you like. It may well have appeared in my best day lotions video. I did a video, and I think I probably showed this one, and I can't remember what else I showed in that. Maybe Zen Med. I really enjoyed Zen Med. But anyway, let's talk about this Simple SPF. This one is both mineral and chemical. It's titanium dioxide, and I haven't said what chemicals are in it, which is unlike me. In my own notes, don't help me. Just double checking there that it doesn't have oxybenzone in it, which it doesn't. This has titanium dioxide and some other chemicals in it, chemical sunscreens in it. It has no retinol palmitate in it, no fragrance, no alcohol, as you would expect from a Simple product. It does have parabens in it, if that's something that concerns you, and it doesn't have any antioxidants in it. But as you can see, we've not yet come across any that have antioxidants in them, other than the Lifesystems has a very small amount of antioxidant in it. For me, this is a really good sunscreen. I was really surprised to find that it was mostly a mineral sunscreen that was in here. Pleasantly surprised, I have to say. This feels lovely under makeup, very moisturising. In fact, I think I bought this and used it when I had extremely oily skin and didn't find it to be so great under makeup, but I kept it and used it after I started my medication or as my skin got drier, and then found it to be great. So this might not be so good for people with oily skin, but I'm going to go over those categories at the end, like I said. Final product to talk about, I don't have actually, but I'm sure I will buy again in the future, and I used to buy this and use this regularly, is the Clinique City Block. I've tried both the City Block SPF50 and the City Block oil-free SPF30, and it was the oil-free one I used mostly when I had oily skin. Funny enough, I stopped using it because it was expensive for me and because I didn't like the smell. It just had a very weird scent to me, and like I said, it was pretty expensive for the salary I was on at the time, so I changed to using drugstore stuff. I think I started using and discovered one by Neutrogena that was sold in Boots, and it was an SPF25, and I loved it, and then they stopped doing it. I remember it was one of those products that you get a feeling is going out of stock because they start putting it on sale, and I bought about 5 bottles and it was only about this size. It was in a pump. It was lovely, a really lovely product, but they stopped doing it, and I think that's what I switched to using after using the Clinique one. But the Clinique City Block, both of them are a mixture of oh my goodness, that's going to be a new word I've made up, a minical SPF, mineral and chemical, but mostly titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, and then the chemicals in them are, the chemical SPF is octinoxate and octisalate, so there's no oxybenzone in them. There's a tiny bit of fragrance, but the tiniest amount, not anything that you would smell and not anything that I think would be a concern. And it does have antioxidants in it. This is one that has added antioxidants in it, so really good formula. I've just got one more to show you. There's actually 8. I've forgotten about this one. I just had a look in my drawer and found this one. This is the Body Shop Vitamin E Moisture Protect Emulsion SPF30. So I've had a look at the ingredients to find out what's in it. It has homosalate in it, is the ingredient for sunscreen. So this is a chemical sunscreen. It doesn't have oxybenzone in it. It doesn't have any alcohol in it. It has a small amount of fragrance, but not something that I'd be worried about unless you had sensitive skin. I wouldn't use this if you have sensitive skin. It doesn't have retinol palmitate in it. It doesn't have parabens in it. It does have antioxidants in it. So it's actually, I'm surprised at how good this is, because although you might think of the Body Shop as being a very, you know, they advertise themselves as very natural, etc., etc., a lot of their products have alcohol, denatured alcohol in them, and a lot of them have a huge amount of fragrance in, albeit natural fragrance, but that doesn't mean it's not irritating, you know. But this is, yeah, really well formulated, really good product. It has, yeah, I told you it has antioxidants in it. Was there anything else I needed to tell you? Fragrance, antioxidants, mineral, chemical, no, I think that's it. A couple of other SPF day lotions that I'll briefly mention because they're ones that I have tried and loved and haven't talked about here. So the 2 that I'm thinking of are ZenMed SPF30. I absolutely love ZenMed, and that was another one that I thought would be a kind of lifelong favourite, but I stopped buying that because it was so difficult to get. I could only get it from America at one point, and so I used to pay, I think, £20 for it, and then I'd pay customs charges on it as well. Maybe it was more than £20, that being the case, and it just got too ridiculously expensive. Or maybe it wasn't customs, maybe it was the shipping was expensive. I think it's a bit easier to get now, but it's still not, it's not a well-known one, and it's not one that's easy to get, but I love the feel of it. It's got oxybenzone in it, so it's not something I would recommend going to the trouble of trying to find. Another one that I loved is the Dermalogica Oil-Free Matte SPF Lotion. Yeah, another one that I thought I would always use, and I used to buy it specifically from a place I went for facials, but then that place closed down and I couldn't find anywhere to buy it, and so I changed to something else, you know. But actually looking at that product, I thought, oh, I wonder if I could buy that one again. I really enjoyed that one. It has oxybenzone in it as well, so it's one I would avoid. However, Dermalogica have got another one, SPF30, I think it's called Age Smart. Sorry, SPF50, not 30. And I got some sachets of it to try. Do you remember I ordered those Dermalogica face masks? I got some sachets of their SPF50 and it's lovely, very, very moisturising, etc. But it has oxybenzone in it as well. So they are some that were favourites of mine that I won't be repurchasing. And other sachets that I've got and I've tried over the last couple of weeks are from Paula's Choice, and I would say that Paula's Choice would be a great pick for anybody really, if that's the kind of money you want to spend, because they're not cheap, they're not, you know, high street prices, but the ingredients are good. I'm pretty sure that any of their products would not have alcohol and fragrance in it, that they would have antioxidants in it, and I think you can probably find a mineral or a chemical one. You know, I think that your choice is probably quite big with Paula's Choice, but I haven't got any day cream that I've used consistently of theirs. I've just tried a few little sachets and they're lovely. What I was really surprised at is that the Ordinary Skincare didn't come out with an SPF lotion, so maybe they are working on one and will bring it out next year or something, because you would think that if they had one they would bring it out for, you know, before the summer. So about the time they were bringing out the foundations, I would have thought that that would have been a time to bring out an SPF lotion, but maybe not. Maybe it's not something they're working on at all. Okay, on to the best for sections. So I have said the best for oily skin would be this one. This Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Dry Touch. If you've got very oily, acne prone skin, this is the one that I have found the best out of all of these. This is the one I've used when I have had very oily, acne prone skin, and I imagine Paula's Choice would probably have a good one, but I haven't personally tried it. For dry skin, I have said 3 products. These 3 products. The Simple is a really good for dry skin. It's very, very moisturising. The Lifesystems, again, very moisturising, and the Body Shop one. I would say this is probably the best out of those 3, would be the Body Shop one for dry skin. For sensitive skin, I would say, have I just got that one? The sensitive skin, I would say the Skinceuticals. This is the only one I've written down, but probably Paula's Choice as well, because Paula's Choice might be slightly less expensive than this and easier to get hold of. So the Skinceuticals or the Paula's Choice for sensitive skin. Sensitive skin, you're better to go for minerals, mineral sunscreen if you can, and this is a mineral sunscreen, of course. For the least risk, i.e. the ingredients have not any cause for concern, then again you're better to go for a mineral one such as the Lifesystems. This has got some chemical in it but not anything of concern, or the Skinceuticals, but don't use anything that is a spray on or a powder, a loose powder, anything like that. Just use a straight lotion, and a mineral one would be best for the least risk. Budget, I would say these 3. So the Neutrogena one, this I think is about £8 or something from Amazon. This one is probably the most expensive and perhaps not in the budget range, but Body Shop have a lot of offers on, so keep an eye out and maybe get to know the offers, and if there's anything else you use from there, I would recommend their cleansing oil. What's it called? Chamomile Cleansing Oil, love that. So they do have a lot of skincare offers on, and they have a lot of vouchers. You know, you spend over £25, you get £10 off or something like that, so keep an eye out for vouchers, but that one is a really good product for the price. And then the Simple one. And then finally, I've said the best all round. The number 1 product, in my opinion, is the Clinique City Block. From the point of view of the ingredients that it has, the ingredients that it doesn't have. You know, it has antioxidants, it doesn't have any oxybenzone, doesn't have alcohol and fragrance, etc. It is not the most pleasant to use out of all of these. I would say that Paula's Choice is also the best all-round. Clinique, Paula's Choice, and this Body Shop one. So what I'm going to use going forward, I am going to use up all of the ones I've got. I do really like this Skinceuticals and would potentially buy it again. I'll see how long this lasts me once I use it, because it's pretty expensive. But it's likely that going forward I will use either the Clinique City Block or this Body Shop Vitamin E SPF30. The deciding factor for me will be, I will get the City Block in SPF50 and see how I get on with that. And I think I tried that before and didn't like it underneath my makeup. I wanted an SPF higher than 30 at the time, I remember, but I didn't like the SPF 50 under makeup, so it'll be interesting to see what I think of it now. So I might actually buy that today and give it a go, and then I can talk about it perhaps in a favourites or something if I'm enjoying it, or in a haul, or you know, something like that, or empties and fails if it was a fail. So it will either be the Clinique City Block SPF 50 or this vitamin E one that I use, or the Skinceuticals, whichever I feel like is the best, but also not too expensive, because like I said, this was expensive and kind of hard to get hold of. How much is in this? 50ml. Oh, this is 50ml, so there's the same in these. So I can't remember the exact cost of this, but if this is a lot cheaper, then I would end up getting this one, and maybe just use this one on days where I'm going dog walking, because this is an SPF 50, and use this more as a daily SPF lotion. Let me know what your favourite SPF day lotion is, or if you use a separate one, and what your experience is with any of these. If anybody has had any experiences with these that you want to share, that's all really useful information for people read in the comments, you know, especially if you've got different skin type to me. I don't know how people that have got extremely sensitive skin, if any of these have bothered you, let us know. That would be really useful to know. What have I got on my face? I have got on today a foundation by 17. It's called 17 Stay Time. You'll have heard me mention it before. I think I did a video on my favourite full coverage foundations, or favourite foundations for oily skin, and it was in that. And it's a little plastic pump bottle. I absolutely love it as a foundation, but I only use it with a beauty blender because it's very, very thick, and I can only use it when I've used self tanner, which I did last night, because they don't have the lightest colour is too dark for me. But anyway, that's the foundation I've got on. I've always got to give you a blooming story behind everything, haven't I? The eyeshadow is from, it's just from that palette, the Morphe palette, the 25B I think I used this morning. But to be honest, I could have got this look from either of those palettes, because it is just a matte basic colour in my crease. That's pretty much all it is. And then, you know, cream to blend it in on my brow, and then cream on my eyelid to blend in the crease colour. That's really all it is. On my cheeks, I've got MAC blush in Stubborn, and this on my lips is the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Hawkwind, and then on the top I put the Sleek Matte Me Metals in, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one that I showed in the New at the Drugstore that I said when it wore off it made me look dead. It's that one, but it looks really nice as a lipstick topper as opposed to on its own. It just gives it a kind of shine, you know, so really like that one. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'll speak to you soon.